a wonderful talker. If black could be made into white by talking, you'd be the man for the job. So now I'm crazy because I don't love you, right? Is that the point?
No, wrong! You're not crazy, and you do love me. That's the point, April.
But I don't.
The celebrity breakup nobody saw coming in Hollywood, no one saw it coming. Not the fans, not the media, not even the people closest to them. Just days before it all fell apart, everything looked perfect. Smiles on red carpets, subtle glances, inside jokes, nothing felt off.
Our entire relationship, I've gone above and beyond for you, for us.
If anything, they seemed stronger than ever, and then, silence, no warning, no explanation, just a sudden shift that left everyone asking the same question: what really happened behind closed doors?
That, Brad and Jennifer had this golden couple-esque type of relationship, and people were enamored with them as well. But obviously there was something that was insufficient in the relationship to allow, Brad to stray.
Because when a celebrity breakup explodes overnight like this, it's rarely about what we see, it's about what we don't. And the deeper you dig into this story, the more complicated and shocking it becomes. This isn't just another Hollywood split, this is the breakup nobody saw coming. What made this breakup so shocking wasn't just the separation itself.
Oh, but it was like right after you were here, you met...
I went on a blind date,
Yes.
and I met my husband, so I think you might have been my lucky good luck charm or
I
something.
think so,
I
yeah.
think so, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
12 years later, I think I'm very happy with how things turn out, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, you're welcome.
It was the illusion that everything was completely fine right up until the very end. From the outside, their relationship followed the perfect Hollywood script. They met at the peak of their careers, both admired, both constantly in the spotlight. Interviews were filled with admiration for each other.
A movie star. You're single now.
This is true.
Are you out on the town? Are you available? Like what? Give me a juicy bit of your dating life.
I'm available.
You're
And
available.
I don't know, I'm like, no.
Social media showed carefully curated glimpses of affection, birthdays, vacations, quiet moments that felt genuine enough to convince millions of people that this was real, stable, and lasting. But here's where things start to shift. Behind that polished image, there were subtle cracks, ones that only became obvious in hindsight. Industry insiders had quietly noticed changes months before the announcement. They stopped appearing together as frequently.
Looks horribly now, like Angelina, goaded Brad on that private jet. Somebody made an anonymous phone call. The authorities were waiting when the jet landed.
As a mother of children, that was horrendous what she did. And that was almost, maybe he should have seen that coming.
It depends on what happened that day, what caused that fight. And blindsided, this is the way she had it building up, obviously.
Joint appearances turned into solo ones. Interviews that once included warm mentions of each other slowly became more individual-focused, almost distant. At the time, no one paid much attention. In Hollywood, busy schedules are normal. Distance doesn't immediately raise alarms, but sometimes distance is the first signal. Another detail that didn't seem significant at first: timing.
Breaking their silence on his marriage to Kim Kardashian and saying that the nuptials were a sham. In an interview with The Sun, Chris's uncle and aunt say, "My understanding of marriage is people are going to give it more than 72 days unless there's serious abuse."
Their schedules, once aligned, began moving in completely different directions. One was diving deeper into work, taking on back-to-back projects, while the other appeared to step slightly away from the public eye. That imbalance can quietly create pressure, especially in relationships already under constant scrutiny. Then came the silence.
Carol, you've got a CD out, you've got a clothing line, you're an ambassador, right? And I don't know how you have time to date Justin Bieber.
What? Oh, brother.
He's little.
Not the kind of silence that comes from privacy, but the kind that feels intentional. Fans started noticing the absence of interaction. No comments, no shared posts, no subtle acknowledgements. In today's hyper-visible celebrity culture, silence speaks loudly. Speculation began to grow, but it was still just that. Speculation until the announcement finally came, and when it did, it was almost too clean, a short statement. Carefully worded, respectful, mutual, the kind of message that closes doors instead of opening them. No details, no explanation, just confirmation that something had ended.
I think it was kind of the final step where both of you guys just went,
Man, it was simple. It was, again, I always feel like when one person turns theirs on, the other has to turn theirs off. And it got to a place where I wasn't able to step into that next realm of my existence.
But the simplicity of that announcement raised even more questions, because real breakups, especially ones this significant, are rarely that simple. Sources close to the situation began hinting that the relationship had been under strain for a while, not because of one dramatic event, but because of a build-up of smaller, quieter issues. Differences in priorities, emotional distance, the kind of slow disconnect that doesn't explode.
When you found out that, let's start with you, that you were going to work with her on this movie, what were your first thoughts?
For real.
I thought, I was excited. I actually really wanted Jen to do the movie. I thought that it was important. Like, selfishly for me, I wanted to have somebody.
It fades, and that's what makes this story different. There was no scandal, no public argument, no obvious betrayal, at least none confirmed. Instead, it seems like this was a relationship that unraveled gradually, behind closed doors, away from the cameras that once captured its highlights. But even that explanation doesn't fully satisfy the curiosity surrounding it. Because when something looks perfect for so long, people don't just accept that it quietly fell apart.
If I were Angelina, I would go into counseling nonstop for about a year to change me. Because she's just another woman, and there's going to be just another man. But if she doesn't get in touch with her real self, beyond her image, she's not going to be any different with the next man.
They look for a hidden reason, a turning point, something that explains how something so strong could suddenly disappear. And that's where the story becomes more complicated, because as more details started to surface, it became clear that what the public saw was only a fraction of what was really happening.
Honey, wait though, this is really difficult for me and I've never been here before. I don't know how to navigate this.
Oh, poor thing.
Don't talk to me that way.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was I thinking? You're involved with this guy to the point where you're meeting his family and I should be careful how I'm talking to you? Are you sleeping with him?
And this is where the story takes a deeper, more uncomfortable turn, because the more people tried to piece things together, the more it became clear that this wasn't a sudden breakup at all. It was a slow ending, carefully hidden in plain sight. When you look back at their final months together, certain moments start to feel different. Interviews that once felt warm now seem slightly restrained.
My mother-in-law is in the audience, so I can't be too rude today, but I want to...
Really?
Yeah. It's never a dull moment, I'll say that. It's kind of like an ongoing episode of I Love Lucy.
Public appearances that looked polished now feel almost performative. Even the way they spoke about each other, still respectful, still kind, but noticeably less personal. It wasn't cold, it wasn't dramatic, it was distant. And that kind of distance is harder to recognize, but far more telling. People often expect celebrity breakups to come with chaos.
Breakups in Hollywood. America's sweetheart Sandra Bullock stunned by husband Jesse James, who cheated on her with a number of women. Now he's opening up about his kids, moving on, and what's happened since the split. He has a new book out called American Outlaw, and Nightline's Vicki Mabry spoke with him.
Arguments, scandals, headlines filled with accusations. But in reality, some of the most significant endings happen quietly. No betrayal, no explosive moment. Just two people slowly realizing they're no longer on the same path. That's what makes this situation so unsettling, because it forces you to rethink everything you thought you knew about their relationship. All those moments that seemed perfect.
It works both ways, you know, like I understand that she gets male attention, she understands that I get female attention, but it's cool.
Yeah, I suppose it's more like, instead of gravy, it's like peri peri sauce, isn't it, or something? Peri peri sauce.
Yeah.
That's smoking.
Were they real, or were they simply moments frozen in time while everything else was changing behind the scenes? Sources began to suggest that both individuals had been evolving in different directions for quite some time. Personal growth, shifting priorities, and the pressure of constantly living under public scrutiny started to take a toll. And when two people grow, but not together, the gap between them becomes impossible to ignore. At first, it's manageable, then it becomes noticeable, and eventually, it becomes permanent. What's even more interesting is how controlled the entire breakup felt. No leaks, no messy back and forth, no public blame. In an industry where even minor disagreements can turn into major headlines, this level of silence is rare and intentional. It suggests that both sides made a conscious decision.
So we read about Bruce and Chris and that they're living separately.
Yeah.
I mean, is that true? I mean, how are they?
I mean, they're best friends, they're happier than ever, and, you know, you guys gotta watch season 9.
Not just to end things, but to protect what was left of their story, because despite everything, there was still respect, still understanding, and maybe that's why there wasn't a dramatic fallout. But that doesn't mean it was easy. Breakups like this, ones without a clear reason, tend to linger longer in people's minds.
Any day to being called sweet.
You'd prefer that?
Absolutely, it's much more fun.
They don't offer closure in the way dramatic endings do. There's no single moment to point to, no clear answer to hold on to, just a quiet realization that something once strong is no longer there. And for fans, that can be hard to accept. Because when you watch a relationship unfold publicly, you start to feel connected to it. You believe in it, you invest in it. And when it ends without warning, it almost feels personal. But the truth is, what we see is never the full picture, not even close. What happens behind closed doors, the conversations, the doubts, the emotional shifts, that's where the real story lives. And most of the time, we only get to see the surface, a curated version, a controlled narrative. And sometimes, even that disappears without explanation.
We're very fortunate, Brad and I, that we both are able to bring our children to work for a few months out of the year, take turns working. So our family time has not been sacrificed by it, but I do imagine that as my kids hit their teens, they're gonna need that.
So maybe this wasn't just a breakup. Maybe it was a reminder that even the most perfect-looking relationships can be fragile. That timing matters, growth matters, direction matters, and sometimes, no matter how strong something once was, it still isn't enough to make it last. That's what makes this story stay with people. Not the drama, not the headlines, but the quiet, unsettling truth behind it. Because in the end, this wasn't about a moment, it was about a gradual ending that no one noticed, until it was already over. And maybe that's why it feels so real. If you enjoy stories like this, deep, layered, and a little more real than what usually makes headlines, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and share this video, because the next story might change the way you see everything.